And now, in a move aimed at strengthening traditional institutions and improving grassroots governance across Delta State, Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has commissioned and presented official vehicles to members of a state council of traditional rulers. The ceremony, held at the new government house grounds in Asaba, drew top government officials, traditional rulers, and key stakeholders. And our News Central's Austin Azu joins us live from Asaba with more details on the commissioning and, of course, the distribution of vehicles. Austin, how many traditional rulers benefited from this vehicle presentation?
Okay, good afternoon. Not quite long, the governor presented these utility vehicles you are seeing on your screen to 65 traditional rulers who converged here to receive their vehicles. It has been uhuru for these traditional rulers. They were quite happy. And from what the governor said so far, that part of what the traditional rulers have been contributing to the development of the state is peace. And of course, you know, peace is residence in the local areas, and traditional rulers have very constitutional responsibility to ensure peace reign in their areas. And of course, if there are no peace in the local areas, of course, will affect governance, and hence the governor is taking it at this time around to present these vehicles to them. And from what we gathered so far, that over 10 years ago that we had such events that traditional rulers were presented with these kind of vehicles, and 60 Prado Jeeps were presented to them, and of course 5 Land Cruisers were equally presented to them. So we have the Commissioner for Public Enlightenment here, Charles Anyagu, to tell us the significance of this utility vehicle. All right, sir. Okay, tell us what are the significance of these vehicles to traditional rulers?
First of all, let me appreciate you for your choice of words, utility vehicles, because indeed that is what they are. The traditional rulers are in line with the thinking of most Nigerians, is that they have a responsibility to maintain some form of culture and tradition, and as the custodian of the tradition of their different communities, they are able to also mobilize support along that line. But what we have done in Delta under the Oborevwori administration is to also mobilize our traditional institution to help us to ensure that there are peace in their different communities. There is no part of Delta, even where we are standing today, that is not under the particular leadership of a particular traditional ruler. In the case of Asaba, where we are, of course, you know we have the Asaba of Asaba. And that means that there are people listening to them in form of what we may call organic support and followership. The traditional norms and cultures of those communities makes even the high and mighty in those communities to respect them. They are able to appoint some as chiefs. So we believe that having them to be part of our governance process, we continue to make it possible for us to enjoy the kind of peace that we're enjoying today. If you do not do that, the tendency is that you are going to be spending that money having to cure peace rather than prevent peace. So I would prefer that we prevent the insecurity rather than having to cure insecurity.
Of course, can you tell us the process of selection of these traditional rulers and these vehicles presented?
We have a traditional institution, the traditional council rather, as a state. The Delta State Traditional Council is made up of a large number of traditional rulers. All those in the council have been provided with this vehicle. And so that is the way it is. And perhaps, like the Uruju said, as we make progress, if there is a need to also look for funds to do one or two things for the others who are not members of the council, then that is not out of place. But what the governor have done today is to make sure that everybody who is in the council, who comes to the traditional rulers council meeting on regular basis, all the way converging on Asaba, to discuss on issues of harmony, to discuss on how we can avoid communal conflict and dispute. If you notice in Delta, we do not have as much communal disputes like they do in a number of other states. That is because we are able to mobilize the traditional institutions to discuss amongst themselves, to see the need for them to relate with one community after the other in form of some form of brotherhood. If you do not do that, the tendency that you are going to be spending so much money having to settle disputes is that, so what we have spent today is nowhere compared to what we would have spent fighting insecurity or having to settle some form of communal clashes.
Okay. Thank you very much. Just one more. We have the Ovie of Great Ijere Kingdom, of course, so that he'll be able to tell us how excited he is about this utility vehicle. Okay.
It's not a mistake in Delta State. I am saying this with all emphasis. Those who doubted his capability, they are now seeing his capacity. The governor is not just performing, he's performing well. From the state of Rose in Delta to the flyover that were hitherto new strange to Delta State, you will know that he came for a mission. Those of us who know him well, we don't have doubt. We have no doubt in our mind that he will perform. From the construction of Yosubi Airport in 1995-96, we all knew that Sheriff is going somewhere. So whatever is doing in Delta today, it's not a surprise to us. The only thing
All right, because of what's of time, because of the crowd we are experiencing here, we can't continue with the interview with the OVA of Ijere Kingdom. However, we'll hope to speak to some others, hope to speak to them thereafter. So back to you, Nusira.